Howdy all, Nimby here. Sorting my thread out 1 second. There we go. Hey mate, how's it doing in Thailand? Good to have you in. Hey Yoshi, good to have you in too, mate. Just doing thread wraps all the way back to the barb, like we normally do. So we're going to be tying what's called a gray Hackle Peacock. It's another simple fly. It's another in the series of wet flies here. But basically, it's going to have a nice red tail, peacock body, hence the name, and then gray Brahma feathers for the hackle, which actually reminded me to tie this one because we were talking with table ties about Brahma feathers over other upland game bird feathers. Hey, table's here too. There we go. Speak of the tire. So yeah, we're gonna do another pattern that uses these Brahmas that actually should be using these Brahmas. First things first, though, we got to tie in our tag. And what I like to use for the tag are just these gold holographic. You can just use regular mylar tinsel. I like to use these hair extensions for tags, especially on salmon flies and stuff. You know, there's a lot of different brands. The hollows are nice because they reflect a little more light, but the hair extensions are way more stretchy. Do I got a piece in here that's damaged? Yeah, there's like a damaged piece that got caught in the wrapper. You can see, like, you can stretch before it breaks and gets all twisty, but like it's got a lot of stretch to it compared to mylar, so it works really well for doing tags on. Exactly, they want a little bling bling, but it works really well for tags because it gives you that flexibility so you can tie it in there nice and tight. I'm just gonna walk that up and then walk it back here and then back again. We're just gonna put like a whiff of, I'm just gonna put just a little bit of head cement on there. You don't have to, you can skip this step. It just helps it stop from sliding around after. But we just need just a little bit. It'll squish and push it all the way down, so don't need to worry too much, but you just want just a whiff. That's all you need. I wonder if I should just get my line out of the way. Yeah, you know what, we'll do that. I'm just gonna run this forward. We'll throw a half hitch in there, just so I can keep it out of the way on the cradle here. Oop. That didn't go where I wanted it to. Let's try that again. That's a little better. One more, just because I messed up the first one. There it be. Okay, now it can hang out in the cradle there. And we'll use the rotary function. I like to go all the way down and then all the way back up again. Minding the hook the whole time. That's funny. It's been really funny with names. Like, it always messes up Ewa's name on my stream. I'm not sure why. I don't know what it thinks it's actually going to be, because it always says it's going to translate it, but never translates it into anything different. Okay, there we go. Yeah. No, it's been doing that. I don't know if it's YouTube or something to do with my streaming software. I'm assuming it's just YouTube being YouTube. There, and it pushes out that head cement. You can just clean it up. Yeah, and it will too. Because I'm not sure what's up with it, but it's been doing that for like a week or two now. It doesn't like Glacier Shark either. It always translates Glacier Shark's typing too. I'm not sure why, because he always says like, "Hey, bro," or like something normal, and it's like translates it into English. It's like, okay. Okay, even though I just put like a little bit on there, it was actually too much and squirted out the bottom. But just cleaned it up with my finger. And yeah, one of these hair extensions, you can get a good like dozen flies or so out of it. It really doesn't take much. The holographics are really nice though. Throws a lot of light. But if you don't have holographic, that is fine. You can use just regular gold mylar. That one's a little too thick. And if you don't have gold, you can use silver. There's nothing wrong with that as either. Pattern calls for gold, and I think it looks really smart with the red tail. So, your mileage may vary, but there's nothing saying you can't use a silver tag on that. Hopefully you can see it there. My favorite beaded nymph for bluegill would probably be the carrot nymph. I have a video on that, if you care to go back that far. It's very similar to partridge and orange. It just uses a silver bead. Well, that's good. Monsoons are crazy. It's like they just don't stop. I'm just cleaning off the fluff off this. We're looking for the longer fibers here to make a tail out of. Ideally this stuff up in the top here, but we're going to use up the bottom as well. It's a little on the wispy side, but we're just making tail fibers. We're not doing anything crazy with it. So like so, roughly about gap height. Rip it off. This is just an accent tail. It's not going to be, it's a wet fly. It's not going to be floating it. It's just for that color out the back. Especially for brook trout and cutthroat, it just kind of anything red is going to tick them off. And longer too, like the length of the body. So right about there, transfer that over. And we want it right on top, so just a loose wrap to hold it there. And I don't really know what's up with the YouTube ingestion server either. Whenever I'm starting these streams, it takes me like a good 5 or 6 tries before it'll let me start the stream. which is rather annoying, but I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's just annoying. I'm gonna tie this in here as well, just to build up a little bit of, there we go. Just gonna tie it in to build up a little bit of body, but I mean, there's not a lot there. But instead of cutting it off, we'll just add it in. And then we'll add in the peacock. And I'm just going to use up some of the peacock from this peacock eye here. Pretty little thing. But you're welcome to use whatever peacock you got kicking around. And I'm going to use 3 strands because we're going to do the whole body there. Like so. Except this time, unlike the one we did earlier in the week, where I'm tying this in butt first, or the peacock butt first, just cut off a little white butts. We're actually going to tie it in the other direction. So it'll be thinner at the tail and then get thicker as we tie it in theory. So these are all the really brittle ends here. We're just going to take our thumbnail, press into it, and then just pull, and it should split them off right where it's the most brittle, and that'll stop it from breaking. So we're just tying these in kind of backwards. I am going to tie it in the length of the body here. If you're confident, you can just tie in those brittle ends, although I generally find it's better to just tear them off. It's not worth fussing with them, because they'll just end up breaking. Okay, so we got the peacock tied in, we got the tail in, we got the tippet in. The tippet will throw a nice light, and that red will tick them off and generate all that predatory. Hey, TN, where would TN be? Sorry, man, where's TN? Texas? Guess Texas would be TX. Good to have you in the stream either way. Fishing starts here. That's a cool channel name, actually. I like that. Oh no, lost one already. Okay, let's just retie this one in. Tennessee, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I should have known that. Forgotten state. Yeah, I'm in late. I meant to get on earlier, but it's having a good gaming session with the wife and enjoying myself. There we go. That's why I normally break off those brittle ends before I start tying it in. This is called a, is it gray hackle peacock? That's what it's called. It's very similar to like a Carry Special or some other Pacific Northwest patterns. Hey, show flies. Sorry, I'm gonna get this. Let me get this tied in. I'm just gonna switch over to my hackle pliers here. Yeah, it's a simple but effective little pattern. It's very similar to the hackle and orange or partridge and orange and partridge and yellow we were tying earlier. It's just more of a Pacific Northwest pattern with the peacock and the red. This will give us a very slight taper, having the thinner ends of the peacock in there. I think that's about as far as I want to go. Yeah, that'll do. Hackle will be on top of that anyway. If you want to chase this with a fine copper wire or wrap it up with your thread and do like a kind of dubbing loop wrap, that would make it a lot more durable. Being that it's a wet fly, it's going to get beat up anyway. So you basically cast this out. You generally want to fish these in moving water, so creeks, rivers, mouths of a creek to a lake, that kind of thing, and cast it into like a what we call them like feed troughs, but where the current's going to be moving slow but moving into like an area where there's going to be an eddy, and then they'll come in and take it. They work really good if their fish are being fussy and they're nosing up and they're taking stuff kind of off the surface, but they're not really jumping. A lot of times these will work really good for that, because they'll be actually feeding just under the surface. Okay, so we're gonna get this beautiful little Brahma pouch and pick out a hackle. In this case, we want that slightly denser webby feather like we were talking about earlier. Oh, we're doing good. A little tired earlier, but I'm still glad I made it on here and get some tying done. Okay, we're just going to strip off all that fluff. So for these, if you're using Brahmas, it depends kind of a little bit on your Brahma, but the saddle is going to work a little better for you than a cape. Capes are going to have a lot more, even though it is a hen, the webbing and the fiber is going to be different on a cape than it is going to be on a saddle. It's going to be a lot more softer, and the ones you're looking for are going to be on the edges of your saddle. So really just in this kind of area, like right here, is where you're going to be pulling from on either side. The ones in the middle are typically going to be too long. You can, if you only have longer ones, like say you got a loose pouch and like the ones you're pulling from are like these guys, you can still do it. Or if you got pheasant, pheasant will work too. There you go, man. Well, you're welcome to hang out with us. But yeah, if all you got is like just regular chicken feathers, and this is like an ideal color, this nice kind of badger, almost like a cross between like a badger and a speckle. Really, it's just beautiful. Really nice. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like a cross between like a grizzly, a badger, and like a pheasant. Really cool. So I'm just gonna grab just the tip here with my fingers. And this actually works really well if you have just tweezers. Actually, generally works better. Yeah, mottled. Thank you. I was looking for the word. My brain just wasn't pulling it out. So I'm just gonna gently work this back. There we go. The downside of the Brahmas is, or the just using hen instead of upland game bird, is you get these longer fibers coming out that we talked about before. And normally if I was doing other patterns, I'd strip these two off there. But for this specific pattern, we're going to leave them on. Because it is a wet fly. We want to have those longer ones bury these shorter ones. So basically doing the opposite of what we were talking about before. Because it's not really supposed to look like a spider, it's supposed to look like a wet fly. That's why we want the little bit more of a I guess robust, for lack of a better word. Oh, thank you. I try. Hopefully it helps everyone out. It's really easy to just say, hey, grab this hen hackle and tie it on there, and you're good to go. But like, there's a lot more to it for all the little subtleties. There we go. And I'm hoping too, like, it just makes it less frustrating for the new guys, and kind of lets them know what they're looking for. Because when you're new and you pick up a a hackle like this or a saddle, like, not only is it just beautiful, but it's like there's hundreds to choose from here, and they all have like slightly different uses. And you can use any one on here to tie this with, but there's going to be ones that you're going to want to look for, like we're saying in this area on the side here, that are going to be more conducive to getting this specific pattern done. If like I said, I was starting to say I didn't finish up there. Yeah, for sure. That's one of the nice things about fly tying is I can do this. I mean, I'm up to, what am I up to, like 650 videos, and I still haven't come close to running out of patterns to tie. So that's the nice thing about. Yeah, I know. Just wrap that on there. But in any case, if you have larger feathers, because that's the most common thing, like if you're a new tire, you're not gonna typically, I mean, if you're lucky, you'll come across like a really nice, you know, you'll come across a really nice cape like that. But most of the time, AI is gonna take over the fly tying community. Most of the time, if you're a new tire, I mean, this is like a really big bag, obviously, but if you're at the fly shop, you're gonna get like a handful of just loose feathers like this, right? Like, obviously this is a giant bag, but like you're gonna get maybe 50 or 60 just in a loose Ziploc bag, and um, most tying kits that you're gonna get at the fly shop, right? So you got to work with what you got, and if you got ones that are longer, um, we'll just use this one as an example because it's big and bright and you can see the fibers really good. If you got much ones that are much bigger like this is like all the way back there, what you can do is you can just do it like a dubbing loop, and you can pull off a chunk like, say, a big, slide it into your dubbing loop, and we'll go over that on a couple different patterns. But you slide into your dubbing loop and then cut off the rest, and then you can make your hackle, whatever length you want. And that's something that's not necessarily easy for a new tire to do, but you can do it, and you can practice and learn it, and then you can make use of like all sorts of different feathers, with techniques like that too. But we're trying to go for the easy stuff tonight. Just gonna wet my fingers a bit here, saying if you don't like licking your fingers, it's probably honestly not the best thing to do, because they do put all sorts of chemicals and stuff on these store-bought capes to cure them and stuff. But we're just gonna hold that there for a second with the moisture, and most of the time that'll keep it together. There we go. Well, this top bit, just cause I said so. There we go. And you'll learn like how much tension you can put on this. Yeah, that's very true. I try to do like 2 to 3 at a minimum if I'm sitting down, because that just gets me. The mood's the wrong word. It's the first one I tie is always, there's always like some kind of little mistake or something where I didn't quite get it right or what have you. So the second one, I can always improve on that. There's always like one hackle fiber that's just being a complete toot. Well, that's okay. Always one. Okay, there we go. Just gonna catch this in. So in this case, we want that really kind of heavy hackle hanging over top of the thinner hackle, which is what we were trying to avoid on the fly we were tying earlier today. But we want that whole coverage, so this is looking more like a wing. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't want to be like everyone else. I'm special. And then the lighter comes out and you're not special anymore. You're ashes. Okay, I'm just gonna clip this off. There. And we'll bury that in with some thread. So it's just like a really simple little wet fly. But cute and effective. Especially for like creeks and stuff. Like if you don't want to throw something, if you're just doing like a little bit of searching, or you're in a bit of a, yeah, that's the nice thing about this hobby is you don't have to do all the stuff. You can just do one part of it. There's plenty of people that just tie, and there's plenty of people that just fish. But yeah, that's pretty much the fly here. I'm just gonna make a nice little head on it. But yeah, these are very effective, and they're really similar to, like, say, a Royal Coachman and what I would use them for. I'd pretty much interchange the two. The difference is the Royal Coachman is going to be very susceptible to damage. You're only going to get a couple fish on it before it's kind of toasted. But like this one you can beat it up on rocks, and it can, like, especially if you're throwing it down a creek. That's cool, man. I bet this would actually work really well for bluegill, to be honest. If I was gonna do it for bluegill, I might like throw a little shuck, like a wing, or um, even like a beard of like bright orange or something like that would be really good, I think, on this. If I was gonna do the bluegill, yeah, just put like a bright shuck of orange hackle down there for like a beard. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, this is more like a workhorse fly where you'd be running it down a creek or what have you. I mean, I definitely use them in lakes too, but yeah, just that little extra, they just kind of drive them nuts, right? Initiate a strike on them. They'd probably go just fine for this as it is, but I think the little bit extra color, or even blue, like a bright blue, like a steelhead blue, might work good too. Kind of wish I had crappie and bluegill and stuff here, because I really enjoy going after the small fish that are nippy like that. Royal Coachman, hands down, yeah. We did that one earlier in the week. Do I have one floating around here? Yeah, that's the one we tied earlier. Here, I'll pop it out for you. It's a classic, but stay. There we go. Talking to my cork because it's there. He's a little bit bent up from being in the cork, but that's Royal Coachman. That would be my absolute favorite fly. This one just has a lot of meaning to me. I've fished them ever since I was little, and I always tried tying them, but they're a little more on the complicated side. I had a heck of a time tying them till I was probably tying for a good year or so. especially with the quill wings. It takes a good bit of practice to get good at quill wings, but it's definitely something you should do. If you want to get good at quill wings, yeah, yeah, they're pretty much really only. I mean, you can catch other stuff on them, but they're really meant for. Yeah, you can use uh, the calf tail instead of for the wings, like you would on a wolf. But if you want to practice quill wings, go on. I know a lot of people are gonna hate me for this, but go on Temu. Buy a package of these, just regular old white duck quills. You can get them for like a couple bucks. You can get like 50, 25 or 50 of them. Lay them out on the table and match them up. So there's going to be a left side and a right side. You'll need one of each, and you're not going to get the whole thing lined up. But there, I'll pull. Okay, so these guys are already used, obviously. Well, the thing with Temu materials when it's natural materials, it all comes from a duck. It doesn't matter if it's grew up in China or grew up in America. It's still a goose or a duck, right? So these are obviously fryer geese. They're pretty small, but I mean you can pay for bigger ones. It's just not worth it when you're learning. You're better off to just buy cheaper material like this because you're gonna trash a whole bunch of them, right? And you got 50 feathers there for like a couple dollars, so who cares? But yeah, you can cut them off like this. So you need a right and a left. So what I'll do is I'll put them on my table and I'll sort them out, put all the lefts on one side, all the rights on the other. And then you look at not only the size of the feather, like how tall it is, but you look at the shape of both sides. And these two are like really similar. So you're typically like if you're getting stuff from Temu, they're all just bulk. So you're not likely to get two from the same bird. But like these guys, like as far as a match pair, like that's pretty dang close. Like it's almost exactly the same feather, right? And if I bought this in the fly shop, I'd be paying, well, back in the day, like $7 for a match pair, but like it's probably $10 or something for like a good match pair of goose feathers now. But you know, this might have cost me 10 cents, right? So if you're learning and you want to learn to do quill wings, do that. Buy a whole pack, get 50 of them, sort them out, put the nicer ones aside for a bit until you start to learn what you're doing, and just start cutting them off and just playing with them and just time and make like, you know, a couple dozen quill wing flies. And you'll get good at it if you sit there and make like yeah, I mean, but I guarantee you if you tie, you know, 3 to 4 or 5 or even 6 dozen quill wings like that, go through a whole pack for like $3, you'll start making some really good quill wings. Like it'll just happen because you're just gonna get better at it, right? You're gonna make a whole bunch of junk, especially when you start, but you're also gonna make a lot of good stuff too. So yeah, that's what I recommend. If you want to get good at quill wings, that's what you do. You go buy a pack of 50 of those. That's cool, man. I'm working tomorrow, but I will definitely keep an eye on it and join if you're doing any live or anything. I will just have to lurk because I'll be working. So I'll do a little spin and spiel on him. We'll get another couple of these done. So just be right back. Me? Oh, I'm actually in British Columbia, Canada, in the interior of BC, right smack in the middle of BC, on the west coast. And the vice today we have a gray hackle and peacock. This is a wonderful little attractor fly. I'd use this pretty much interchangeably with a royal coachman. It has some red rooster hackle out the back. Just a nice red shuck sticking out the back. Has a little tag. It's a little hard to see, but it has a golden tag tied into the bend, and then peacock curl all the way up the body, and then a nice, lovely Brahma. It's like a gray, mottled gray color, similar to like a grizzly or a badger color Brahma hackle saddle. Wonderful little thing. It's just, they're little workhorses. You can really beat these up compared to what you can do with other wet flies like a Royal Coachman. So they're just excellent for getting into creeks where the water's moving really fast. There's lots of little rocks and stuff that you're going to be bouncing around down the current. You'll get a lot more use out of one of these than you would off of a quill wing wet fly. Wonderful little thing. Add a bunch of these to your box. They're just little awesome little staples. Thanks kindly. There we go. Oh, did I forget the animal? I'm sorry, guys. Here, hold on a second. I have it up. I just forgot to turn it on. My bad. I've been forgetting that lately. Yeah, it should be in shortly. As long as it connects here. Okay, if you guys say anything, doesn't matter what you say. As long as you talk in the chat, you'll get yourself your little avatar. It should be on the bottom of the screen there shortly. And again, I forgot to grab another container to put these in, so they're just going to hang out here. There we go. So we'll pop him in there. We'll put his little friends in there once we get them going. I was going to do a giveaway tonight, but I think we'll just save that for tomorrow because I'm tired and I don't really have it prepped yet. It's all good, man. I think we're all in the same boat. There we go. My spelling's... Not only is my spelling horrible, but when I get tired, it's like the spell check just fights me. It makes everything worse. You need a dialing wand. You know, that's one thing I miss that they don't have anymore is like good sitcom stuff. I was just thinking of the Simpsons, but more like, you know, Fresh Prince or all those ones that we watched growing up. They don't even exist anymore. They don't have anything really like that anymore. I miss that. Home Improvement, Cosby's, you know, all those stuff. I'll bring this back up here and put that up in the thing. No worries, mate. Yeah, we're here pretty much every day, so I'm definitely see you in the future. No worries. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's all good. I know it's late. Hey, Valhalla, good to have you in, man. I was just thinking about you, wondering how you were doing. Oh, I forgot the glue. 1 second. The glue is a good idea. Just a little whiff of head cement. It really doesn't take much. It'll squish it all out. Man, just knocking stuff everywhere. There we go. At least that didn't break. There you go. Yeah, I was just wondering how you were doing with all your stuff earlier today. Later. Thanks for coming in fishing. Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering, if you were doing anything new with all that stuff. I haven't caught up with you in a minute. There you go, I just finished paying mine. Thankfully mine's pretty cheap. Oh. Come on now, behave yourself. That'll do. At least it's going fast. I am confident you will find a way to get through it all, man. You have up to this point. I know it doesn't, saying that kind of thing doesn't make it easier, but I am confident you'll get through it. There we go, got a nice shiny tip on there now, and we'll get the... Well, you're better off than a lot of people. A lot of people owe a lot more than what they got. Right? I know it's not a comfortable thing whatsoever. No, don't get me started on insurance stuff, man. I think it's such a scam. I don't have a better word for it, so I'm just gonna go with scam. Okay, I just do a soft wrap up top, just to hold it right on top of the hook. There we go. Well, that's kind of what I was... Yeah, I know, tell me about it. There's a problem with, like, auto insurance. Like, if you're just driving a regular beater... Like, I like my old vehicles, so I don't want to drive things that are computerized. I fix enough computers all day. I like something I can take apart with a Leatherman, you know. But downside is, if you're driving an older vehicle, you pay almost as much as the vehicle for the insurance. And if you get in an accident, they're not going to want to cover it because it's older. So that part sucks. There we go. But I guess the insurance is more there for... Yeah, exactly. They're just a tool to get you from point A to B, right? Okay, I'm gonna save the rest of that eye up there, but you'll use these three here. Yeah, it's my little polka mix. At least it's not the kazoo song. I don't mind this one as bad. Sometimes I'm in the mood for that, so it's in the mix. Actually, earlier today I was kind of in the mood for like 80s synth stuff. No worries, man. We'll be here tomorrow. You get yourself some rest and there'll be a new day. Speaking of which, yeah, I gotta do that too. I got chicken coops to clean. Okay, just cutting off all those brittle ends there. I'll tie that in. Again, the length. Okay, later, Valhalla, man. You have a good night. Tomorrow will be a better day. You'll figure it out. I'm confident. He's an ingenuitive little bugger. I'm just gonna throw a half hitch in here just for kicks and giggles so it doesn't come loose. There we go. And we get to keep Streambox. It looks like Razer bought out Streamlabs. So yay, I don't have to find a new bot. I'd rather have Nightbot, to be honest, but I just don't want to spend the time to reprogram him all the way again. But yeah, I think Nightbot's a lot cuter and just behaves better. But Stream Element bot does work good for my chat bot, so I can hear you guys talk, which is excellent when I'm trying to fly tie. Well, that's true. I'm just gonna like rewrap this last section here. It kind of squished itself. Not super happy with how that worked. So there we go. So that one wrap there. There's a little thin spot. It's not gonna matter. You're not gonna see it with the hackle on, but may as well fix it. There we go. It's a little better anyway. Yeah, nice and thick on there. That'll do. Well, we got the flood of YouTube guru videos on the YouTubes now. The whole new monetization thing. But I'm not seeing a whole lot of answers for people, you know, other than just get it done before the end of the year. That'll do. I like that. That's nice. There we go. That worked out pretty well. Oh yeah, let's get another Brahma feather. What a beautiful cape. I know I keep talking about it, but I wish you guys could feel it. It's just like super soft. Super soft. I love it. It's wonderful. If you guys are in the States and and you're looking for, like, I didn't get this cape from him, but if you're looking for good quality chicken capes at a decent price, Magpie Materials is starting to open back up again, and he had some really good stuff. I got a good amount of Chinese and Indian capes off him for like $5 to $10 a cape, and they were really good quality. I was super happy with them. And he's just a regular guy like me, like us, and he just had a baby, so he's kind of shut his shop down for a bit, but he's starting it back up. To look up Magpie Materials. It is a beautiful cape, it really is. Just a regular old Brahma chicken, but it just has some gorgeous markings on it, and it's super soft. So there we go. Yeah, if you're looking for cheap chicken capes, or just actually good capes too, because he carries what is it, Rise. I have the cape right here, but I don't have the name tag on it. Rise Form. He carries Rise Form Hackle, which is another local to the States Hackle company, and I have a couple of their capes, and they were all beautiful, and they're like $35-40 for like a good quality cape. I mean, they're not whiting by any means, but they're pretty dang close, and they're definitely really good for the price. So, not affiliated, but the guy's really nice. His name's Stefan. He also runs a couple of fly tying Facebook groups to help people fly tie. Hey, enough. Sorry, guys. I have no idea what my dog's upset about. Go back to bed. I think he's half asleep. Sorry, guys. I really don't know what he's upset about. There's nothing going on. Okay, so we're gonna get this tied in here. Sorry, dog distracted me. He is a most valiant protector. He tries really hard. Come on now. I'm just trying to get around the racus there and get that tied in. There we go. I can push all those back in a sec. About 2 wraps around the eye, and then we'll get 1 more wrap around the racus, and we'll call it good. I'll get that fixed up. It's a little punk rocker on the last one. I pulled a little tighter than I probably needed to on it, but that's fine. We'll fix it with the thread while we're making the head up. Adjust your thread tension when you're tightening the head up. You can adjust your hackle one way or the other. So if you want it to lay down flat, you do looser wraps when you're making your head, and if you want it to stand out like it is now, then you can tighten up on those last couple wraps and it'll cause it to flare. But we want the opposite because it's a little bit too punk rocker. So I'm just going to do really light wraps. And just build that thread dam up. So I'm not putting any, if I am going to put tension, like pull more line out like that, make sure you're down by the eye. And then just really light wraps. Back up. And we got a nice little head made there, so I can let go. And see, nice and flat again. So you can do the exact opposite by doing the opposite of what I did, and going tight, loose here, and then tighter up there. And I'll do the opposite. If you're too flat against the body, then it'll spike it up. And you can just adjust your tension to have it kind of land just where you want. Don't need to, mind you. It just makes it look prettier. Just a little rake is sticking through there. I just want to hit up with a Sharpie. Thank you. These are fun little patterns. Like I said, they're just like little fishing workhorses. Because they're so quick and easy to do. They're not stressful at all, so you can fill your box up with a good dozen of them or so, and if you lose one or two, it's not the end of the world. And if they get really beat up, you can just cut them off and make up new ones. When I have a really nice, like, beautiful looking Royal Coachman or a nice, like, quill wing wet fly, tie it on there, and I'm all proud to throw it out. And then, like, after about a dozen casts or so, it's kind of beat up and I feel all sad. But these guys don't matter. They look the same after a while. Did I, trying to recall, did I whip finish that? Or did I just half hitch it? Oh, whatever. Let's just throw one more whip finish on there. I can't recall if I did or not. Oh, now there's two. Not gonna hurt nothing. There we go. There we go. Beautiful little thing. I like that. The Brahma just has such a different texture's not the right word. It's like a consistency of the fibers are just a little bit stiffer and straighter than you get with a partridge. But yeah, beautiful little thing. Happy with that. Right? Get him a nice little shiny head on there. Get another spin and spiel going. A little bit of head cement, and we'll put a little bit of Sally Hansen Instant Dry on. Keep meaning to cut down this brush, but I actually haven't had any problems with it. This brush is a little different than my last one. It's got a nice kind of rounded tip on the end, so it actually works quite well for getting in there. It's flat. I normally take my scissors, clean this off, and cut them to a finer point. But yeah, overall, haven't had any problems with this one. There we go. Don't need a whole lot, just to put a little varnish on. That'll mix with the head cement and it'll melt the wax and the thread. Soak right in, and that's not going nowhere. Just like when you have a tie-down strap on your truck, you gotta smack it. That's not going nowhere. It's a little wonky, but not horrible. Might be bent this way. That's a little better. There we go. Nice thing about the rotary is you can check if your hooks are bent. Not that it really matters all that much, but you know, it's nice to check. Okay, so I'm gonna do a spin and spiel. Be right back. And the device today we have a gray Hackle and Peacock. This is a wonderful little wet fly pattern. It has some red hackle coming out the back, nice shock red, wonderful little thing. And it has a nice golden tippet tied in just into the bend of the hook there. You can see the hackle or the holographic coming through. It has a peacock body all the way up to the head. And for the hackle, it has some Brahma. It's kind of like a mix between a badger and a grizzly Brahma. Just a wonderful speckled little thing for a wet hackle. Super simple. You can fish these just like you would a Royal Coachman or other wet fly patterns like a quill wet fly. But they're a lot more durable. They get into a lot more places and they drift a little better. If you're drifting riffles and that kind of thing on a creek or river, it's great to have a bunch of these. They're just little workhorses. If you're trying to pull out like a little brook trout, excellent little pattern. Wonderful little thing. Add a couple to your box, eh? Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that. Yeah, the cape's really pretty, David. I like that. It's probably one of my favorite capes, and it's just a chicken cape. It's a beautiful cape. We got a few more, like I got a brown one that's almost identical to it. That's more of like a lighter hazelnut brown as well. We'll put them in here. Get another one done. I'll try and get them done a little quicker here, not yabber as much, but if anyone has any comments, concern, accusations, feel free. So these are a size 12, I have dry written on here, but they're just a standard 12. They're not actually a dry hook. Just standard 12. This is a Mustang knockoff, but they're good quality. They're nice and thick. They don't bend easy. They're fairly sturdy. Haven't had any problems with them. And they're good price. Okay, so let's get the tippet tied in here. So I find my little piece left. There we go. Okay, actually, let's get our thread tied on first, because we need our thread to do anything. Cut that off. There we go. I'll tie it in first here, and then we'll add that little dab of glue. or in our case, head cement. Yeah, now that I've tied a couple and everyone's kind of seen how it's done, I'm just gonna get to some quicker tying here. If you guys have any questions with any steps or anything, just let me know though. Otherwise, I'm just gonna zone in and get a bunch of these guys done. No. Yeah, let's get the glue in there. You can skip this step. It does help though. And you just need just a little bit. Just a wee bit. No worries, I know it's late. I'm just gonna get a couple of these done up and head to bed too myself. I'll be up early as well. Thanks for staying down, I appreciate it, mate. Okay, close to the end there. I'm just trying not to lose it. There we go. Hey Yoshi, good to see you still there, mate. Nice, man. Was it you that wanted the most, or was that Ewaz? That was one of you guys. I got all the stuff to do it. I just need to wait for a day where I can make a good-sized mess. Because they're messy. But I picked up leather for the tails and the ears. Can also use that craft foam as well too, but I like the look of leather myself. Doesn't last as long in the water, but you know, they're more of a fun fly. It was you? Okay, cool. I'm gonna try and get that done this week here coming up. Working Thursday, Friday. I'm gonna try for Saturday maybe, because I'll need a good time of tying session to get it done. Yeah, that's gonna be too short to do much with. We'll just toss that piece. Yeah, no worries, man. And if you miss it for some reason, then there'll always be the VOD you could watch too. But I'll try and make sure you're around. Everyone likes deer hair spinning, so I'm sure it'll be a good time. It's a little bit much. Let's just bring off a couple fibers off of that. Like so. Yeah, that'll work. Poop. And I'll go body length. Right on top. Oh, no worries. Is there a time that's better for you on, say, a Saturday? Or I can do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday as well. But I'll definitely keep it on the back burner whenever you're around, and I'll get her done this week here coming up. Later, David. Yeah, the only thing for me is I just, I want to have like a good tying session because it's a fun fly to tie. It just takes a little while, and it's messy as all get out with the hair trimming. So I just want a time where I got a good, solid hour or two to tie it up. Not that I need an hour or two to tie it up, but it's just one of those things where I'll probably get talking a lot, and it'll be fun and slow, And yeah, I'd like to do more than, I'd like to do a couple of them. What am I doing now? Peacock. Okay, we'll see how this goes. These ones are going to be shorter, and this one's clearly damaged down here. Maybe we'll skip that bottom one here. Now we're just going to cut these guys off. I hope so. That's the whole point. That's why I don't want to rush it, right? I'd like to take like a good hour or so and sit down and tie a few of them, go over the different points, and it's been a minute since I've tied them too, so I'd like to practice at them. But they're a really cool fly. It's like tying a big bait fish. It's almost more for the tying than it is for the fishing. Okay, that'll do. Tie that guy up. There. And you've been a good supporter, mate. I want to make sure I get that done for you because you haven't requested much for me, and you've been an awesome supporter for a good long while now, so it's the least I can do for you. Actually, let's spin these up. 1 second. They're separating already. What are you doing now? What? Oh, I forgot about that. Do you see anything? Really? Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, my daughter just reminded me there's a meteor shower going on right now, and she got to see some meteors, so not that I want you guys cutting out from the live, but feel free to check outside, because apparently there's a nice meteor shower going on right now. I'll have to check that out when I'm done. Forgot, it's actually supposed to be right around midnight. think I got it good there. Get that cut off. Colino. My dog's a little wondering why she's walking around so late. Alright, let's get some hackle on that. But yeah, I'll probably be on about... I'll tie probably one or two more of these. There we go. That's a nice split. Come on now. Should probably take the twist out of my thread. No, got it anyway. There we go. That's gonna be a thick one. I might need to take a little bit of those fibers off. We'll see how she wraps. I'm gonna throw 1/2 hitch on here just to make sure it's not going anywhere. Just keep tension on it. Go. There was a solar eclipse today too that we got to see. It was just like a sliver up here, but still really cool. Nature's wonderful things. Yeah, that's a bit much. I could get another 1/2 turn or so out of that, but not more than enough on there. So I'm not gonna bother. Got an error came up on my stream app here, so hopefully I'm still streaming. It looks like I am. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna color that in and we'll tie it in and call her good. I'm glad you're still here, mate. Just building a little head here, like we did last time, just to get this to lay nice. There we go. Yeah, that's beautiful. I like that. It's a good size head too. Just a sec, dog. You're fine, man. He's all flustered. I'll let him out in a sec here when I finish this guy up. A little bit of head cement, a little bit of nail polish. Yeah, I can't, well, I can tie them here, I just can't fish them because we can't have articulated hooks like that. In most of the areas I fish anyway in BC. But yeah, they're really cool. I used to tie things like that all the time when I was a kid before they became illegal, but they're really cool. And they're a lot of fun to tie. I used to do things like that with a lot of minnow patterns and stuff for steelhead. Steelhead and salmon were actually really common to have kind of dual gang hooks like that as well. I don't have a lot of advice for the. If you can snell the hooks on, it makes it a lot easier because then you can get the line running through the eye. Doggo, you're fine, man. He's just being a whiny baby. He's okay. If you snell the hooks with a snell knot, then you get the line running through the eye of the hook, and it can line up a little better. And the snell knot will just keep things kind of like lined up, you know, a lot straighter. And if it's flopping around too much, yeah, I don't really know why. I mean, other than people like trying to snag salmon and steelhead when they're running and that kind of thing, that was a problem. But I mean, generally speaking, it's not a big deal. Just hold tight. I'm gonna let my doggo here. I'll be right back, and then I'll do a spin and spiel and get this guy out of the vise. 1 second. Sorry, back. Mic was muted. Dog had to go pee, but the meteor shower is actually going on right now. I got to see a couple, so if you can see the stars, you should go out and have a look. It's kind of cool. It's supposed to be tonight and tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do a little spin and spiel on him. Why not? And the vice today we have a gray hackle and peacock. This is a wonderful little wet fly pattern. It's very similar to a cross between a Royal Coachman and a Partridge in Orange. It's just more set for the Pacific Northwest. Use this really commonly in brook trout creeks and streams around here, or any like opening to a lake or inlet or outlet to a lake where a creek or river is coming in. A wonderful little thing. You just toss it in. You want to just throw it into those little troughs where the current's going down and then feeding into eddies or pools, and just let it float down and just keep mending your line. And right when it hits the pool, that's when you'll get the brook trout will just come up and nail it. The red tail and the tip, golden tip on the back, really help to indicate strikes or to initiate strikes, and basically just ticks them off and just gets that predatory response going. Wonderful little thing. You should definitely have a couple of these in your box in different sizes. This is a size 12, and you can get them going all the way down to an 18. And normally 12 to 18 is kind of like your range that you want to tie these on. Wonderful little thing. Add a couple to your box, eh? Thanks kindly. Okay, Yoshi, I'm gonna grab some sleep, and I'll be up here in a couple hours. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight, though, man. I appreciate that. I'm gonna tie up a couple more of these in the morning, and I'm not sure what our next fly was after that. I think it was something to do with a hare's ear, some kind of hare's ear nymph, I think. I'll have to check in the morning. But there's the ones we did tonight. I'll get another container for those. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me all. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate all the support, and we'll see you guys in a few hours, probably about 5 in the morning Pacific Standard Time, give or take. Yeah, thanks, mate. Have a good night, man. Sleep well. Later, all.